Alright, good afternoon. Today, this will be our topic, Laplace transforms. I'm pretty sure almost all of us is, uh, almost all of us, this will be the first time ma-encounter ni siya nga concept, no? And mathematical operation. But this is used, or Laplace transforms is a powerful tool used to solve second order and higher ordinary differential equations. So before we begin what Laplace transforms are, ato sang i-define what are integral transforms. Okay. So Laplace transforms fall under the general category of integral transforms. An integral transform is used if it allows one, integral transform is useful if it allows one to turn a complicated problem into a simpler one. Suppose that we want to solve a differential equation with a known function, f, this one, kaninga part sa slide. One first applies the transform to the dE to turn it into an equation that one can solve easily. Often an algebraic equation for the transform capital F of f. No? So ang capital F usually gina-denote nato if nahumana og transform or quote-unquote na-applyan og integral transform ang isa ka function. So when we say small f, this one, this denotes the function that is still sa differential equation na domain. But if capital F na siya, meaning na transform na nato atong small f na function into the whatever is the name of the transform nga domain, no? Then one solves this equation for f and finally applies the inverse transform to find f. Okay? So ang atong gibuhat before, like method of undetermined coefficient, method of variation parameters, even atong mga first order na processes like variable separable, homogeneous, integrating factor, all those stuff, di rin na sila nga part makita sa atong process flow, kaning broken line, no? Naman tayo those are the direct methods, okay? Those are direct methods on how to solve differential equation. Pwede man nga i-bypass na nato all these things to directly solve the differential equation using conventional means, as we've discussed before, no? All of those processes. But there might be a simpler process to solve for the differential equation if we are going to use integral transforms, no? So na tayo mag-shortcut kibali. So how do we go about doing this? We explain further sa next slides. So there are many types or many different names for integral transforms. Mo ni siya ang general na notation. G of S, meaning this is the function nga na-transform na, no? Already transformed. G of S, the parameter is S, is equal to the integral of that function f of t times a function k in terms of s and t integrated from a point from A to B, no? So this is the general notation for an integral transform. So the f of t is given. This is our given function. Kaning k of s of t, this is what we call the kernel, no? Kernel ni siya, Kernel. The kernel of the integral transform. So we have numerous types of integral transforms with different names. Ang mag-differ lang nila is what kind of kernel ang atong gamiton. The two most commonly used integral transform in engineering is the Laplace transform and the Fourier transform. So Laplace and Fourier. Ang kernel ni Laplace is this one, e to the power of negative s of t. Okay? So again, the kernel of the Laplace transform is e to the power of negative s times t. So i-replace lang nato ning sa taas kaning general equation for the integral transform. I-replace natong k of s and t with e to the power of negative s times t. Kanay. So ang output ana if you multiply nato sa f of t, integrate din nato over 2 points, makuha tag Laplace transform. Okay? So pronounce ani is Laplace. Okay? Kaning isa, the Fourier transform for wala siya for YEY, no? For Fourier transform. Mo na iyang kernel. Okay? So it's a complex transform as you can observe. Ang iyang kernel is 1 over square root of 2 times pi times e to the power of negative complex number I, our imaginary number I times s times t. So munang kernel sa Fourier transform. Both of these transforms are commonly used in engineering. Although there are many types of integral transforms, di ko kadumdum sa uban na karon. Kanilang giduha ang ako madumduman, especially sa electrical engineering and sa amoa sa electronics engineering. Very common ni siya, Laplace transform and Fourier transform. So later, we'll try to find the Laplace transform of 1 and atong i-try no kung makaya na to og pangita ang Laplace transform sa x squared, no? And e to the power of ax. Ito na i-try later. Later na lang sa paper. So, another convenient thing when using Laplace transform is later, kung solve na ito ng mga example, ma-appreciate na to nga or atong ma-understand, I mean, no? Atong ma-understand nga lisod ay taas siyang process, no? The the more complex the given function is, the harder it is for us to find the Laplace transform. Pero we only have a finite number of commonly used functions man. So actually, dili all of the time nga solve ginato using integral calculus ang Laplace transform. Pwede ta magamit og table, no? Ma-refer ta ani. And later atong tunan unsa ang paggamit og table, no? Lookup table ni siya, meaning if ang atong given function is any of these functions nga nasa left hand side sa table, meaning these ones and these ones, if naraan na ang atong given, pwede na ta dili mag-solve gyud og ig-ani, no? Diretso na nato nga tan-awon lang sa table unsa iyahang final answer, no? So later ato ning gamiton. So these are Laplace transform properties. Ako gyapon i-explain in detail later, mas better kung sa paper. Now we have the linearity property, first translation, second translation, change scale. Later na lang ni sila, no? Explain na gyapon ako na in a more detailed fashion in a while. Also sa study of or also in using Laplace transforms to solve differential equations, magamit ta og concept of partial fraction decomposition. Naka-undergo naman na before, no? Na-encounter na ninyo ni either sa integral calculus or sa previous nga maths.
Yes, sir.
Partial fraction decomposition. Okay? So, if majority sa inyo, yes, well then that's good. But sige lang, kay I think ma-review na gyapon naton sa paggamit ani, no? For those nga wala pa. Pero for sure, almost all of the differential equations nga to i-solve using Laplace transform magamit yun og partial fraction decomposition. Okay? So start siguro ta ani, no? So if maka-refer mo sa notes or na-download ninyo gikan sa e-learn, the better. Kaya ako sa i-close. Then focus lang mo sa akong camera. Okay? Kaya ako sa i-close. Sige. Okay. So, I hope inyong attention nasa akong camera. I'll be using the notation f of s. Sa notes kay g of s man. Ako lang kay f of s para na siya. F of s equal to the integral of f of t times k s of t from a to b. Kernel a function of s and t. May kulang din ani dt. Dapat na dt ni. Kay Laplace transform na itong gamiton. Our kernel k of s and t is e to the power of negative s and t. No? Now, example. Let our given function be f of t equal to 1. No? Or f of x man din, no? Palaman na. Let's say our given function is 1. So, what is the Laplace function of 1? Another notation there is a Laplace transform Laplace transform class is this one. No? Before na ko i-solve, another notation for the Laplace transform is stylized nga L or cursive na L. Laplace of f of t. No? Ang meaning ani, the Laplace transform of f of t, which is equal to f of s. Okay? So maybe, or most of the time, morning annotation akong gamiton, the Laplace transform of f of t. So, kung ako nang i-translate ng question, ngayong itsura is, what is the Laplace transform of 1? No? So, we know, ang kaning question is, i-substitute nato kibali si 1 dire, and this one dire. So, the Laplace transform of 1 is equal to the integral of 1 times e to the power negative st dt evaluated from nabot sa slide nga pag Laplace transform ang a ug b kay 0 and infinity, from 0 to infinity. So this is just as if ato isulat siya og e negative st dt, no? Where s is a constant or treated siya as constant. So say ko na ni integral. Negative 1 over s e st. Sakto ba? Muna yung integral.
Dili negative ST, sir.
Yeah. Sorry. Negative st day. Sakto. Okay? So, evaluated from 0 to infinity. So, replace na to si t with infinity. Negative 1 over s e to the negative infinity minus negative 1 over s e to the power of 0. What's e to the power of negative infinity? Pwede naman na i-calculator. E to the power of negative 99999. No?
1,
0.
sir.
1? Negative
0.
infinity man.
0 day, sir.
0. Very good. Isa ha. So, 0 na siya. Negative, positive. E to the 0 is 1. Meaning, ang nabili na lang is 1 over S. Meaning, the Laplace transform of 1 is equal to 1 over S. Then, I think, no, wala na ako nabutan sa table, pero I think the Laplace transform of any constant is that constant over S. No, kung 2 ni siya, kung 2, yeah, it will follow that the Laplace transform of any constant C is equal to C over S. Kung 3 lugar ni siya, 3 at kung
Fermi na
ipagawa
siya,
si
sir.
3,
Bisag,
ha? Oh,
bisag 100
per
lugar na,
minute.
sir.
Oh, bisag 100 na siya. Let's say for example, 100 ni. So si 100 is na dire. Si 100 atong gipagawas. I-integrate gyapon ni siya as is. Ang mabilin diri 100 times this one. So yeah. I am pretty certain nga this will hold. The Laplace transform of a constant will be that constant over S. So, kung naiana po hon, di na to necessary nga mo go through gid ani nga process. Diretso na ta. And don't worry, na siya sa table. Na siya sa table. Slide number 4 sa atong slide. Example number 2. What if our function, given function, is e to the power of, di lang sa nato i-generalize, no? 2x. Very common function sa atong study sa DE, e to the power of 2x. So, the question is, what is the Laplace transform of e to the power of 2x? So, we evaluate from 0 to infinity, e to the power of 2x times e to the power of negative st dt. Kayot lang sa class, ha? Mas ko baguhon sa akong setup. Mo naman siguro ni. Yeah, okay na siguro ni. Maklaro ra ba?
Klaro ra, sir. Klaro ra.
Akong ipadol gamay. So, kani, no? Integral of the function e to the power of 2x times the kernel e to the power of negative s times t dt. So, this becomes the integral of constant man sila combine to yun yung x t ni t 2t 2t t ang atong kuan independent variable t ni siya. So this becomes e 2 minus s times t dt. No? Makombine naman eh. So may tabo is positive 1 over 2 minus s e 2 minus s t evaluated from 0 to infinity. So the same gapon, no? Pwede naman natin mapagawas kay constant man ni siya. 1 over 2 minus s e 2 minus s times infinity minus e to the power of 0. 2 minus s. Whatever s is,
Zero.
hmm, the same gyapon kanina, no? May tabo man is man negative man gyapon ning isa, no? Mas dako man ni nga infinity dire kaysa dire, multiply lugar nato yung infinity, i-distribute kibali nato sa infinity, i-distribute kibali nato sa infinity. So mas dako ang second infinity kaysa sa first. So molog gyapon nga this will be equal to 0 and this will be equal to 1. Ano? Yeah, 0 kani 1. No? And this becomes 1 minus 2s times negative 1. So the final answer is s
Negative.
minus 2. So the Laplace transform of e to the 2s, 2t, I mean, 2t is equal to 1 over s minus 2. Any question sa process? Basta kay, pwede pa nato i-generalize that the Laplace transform of an exponential function raised to any constant a times t would be equal to 1 over s minus a. In this case, ang atong a is sa taas, our a is positive 2. Di ba? Positive 2 man eh. So, maulog dire nga 1 over s minus positive 2 or 1 over s minus 2. So, muna yung generalization sa exponential function raised to a constant times t. S minus a. And muna siya ang second entry sa atong table. No? Okay. So, for any type of function, no? For any common function, I mean, na siya sa table. Di na ito na-solve ng uban. Kay I'm sure complicated na siya pag-solve, especially ang pagmabot ato sa cosine. No? Cosine A of t, sine A of t. Mag-refer na lang ta sa table. No? So if you could, please refer to slide number 4 sa atong slides for you to have a reference sa common functions and their subsequent Laplace transforms. So let's go to the properties and theorems of Laplace transforms. So dili na to mag-go over tanan kay dili man ni mathematics gyud nga course, but this is an engineering course. So of course ang application na natong atong main point, no, why we're studying Laplace transforms. We're not studying Laplace transforms for us to know what Laplace transforms are only, but for us to know how to use Laplace transforms to solve ODE. Okay? So, these theorems and properties nga ma-relate lang sa atong pag-solve og DEs ang akong i-discuss. And there are only five Seven properties nga na dire. No? 1, 2, theorem number ko. Ano nga dire? Theorem number 1-2 na gani ang first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Mga 7 theorems na siguro. No? Nga important for us to know, for us to solve, or for us to use Laplace transform to solve ODEs. So first is linearity property, no? Laplace transforms are linear. So don't worry, kung di nyo ma-take note na akong gisulat, kinamanggap niya sa slide. Ako lang i-explain, no? Explain in detail. If C1 and C2 are constants, while F1 of t and F2 of t are functions, then ang Laplace transform daw, no? Linearity. The Laplace transform of a constant times a function f times t is just equal to the Laplace transform of that same function times the constant. So the same sa itong usually ginabot before, ang constant, pwede lang mapagawas. Not only sa iyahang amplitude or scale, linear, ang Laplace transform na operation, but also sa sum of the functions or additions of the functions. Meaning the Laplace transform of a function 1 plus another function f2 is equal to the Laplace transform or the sum of the Laplace transforms of the individual functions. Well, of course, this is understandable, no? Because it's a linear operation, meaning a Laplace transform sa sum of function will be the sum of the Laplace transforms of the individual function. So there's nothing complicated mo po daan eh. So example, no? Example, we are given the function (40 squared minus 3 cosine 2t plus 5 e to the negative t. So have your table of Laplace transforms ready. Kaya I might be referring to it. Hindi ko naka-print daan, no? So, siya lang tumaprint ako. Sige lang. Okay naman. So, this is a sum and difference of functions. Napag yung mga constant na coefficients. No? So, what does this look like? No? The Laplace transform of f of t is equal to, so initial pa man taga-discuss ani, so maybe ma-find ninyo nga redundant, pero sige lang, mas better man kay para mas stress na ako akong points. The Laplace transform of this whole thing, 4 t squared minus 3 cosine 2t plus 5 e negative t. No? Pwede man mo gamit o kani nga process, no? Kernel. Tan jud tag unya, no? Gamit lang tag table. But first, applyan sa nato linearity property. Pwede na to this is the Laplace of the whole thing, no? So pwede po nato na bulag-bulagon. Meaning the Laplace transform of 4t squared plus the Laplace transform of negative 3 cosine 2t plus the Laplace transform of 5e negative t. Okay. Next, apply na to first linearity nga property. Ang constant is ipagawas. No? Again, this might seem redundant to some, pero sige lang. No? So meaning pagawas na to si 4. Meaning this becomes 4 the Laplace transform of t squared. Minus 3 the Laplace transform of cosine 2t. Plus 5 the Laplace transform of e negative t. So, if you could look at the table, kaning first nga part, no? Natot na ni sa table. The Laplace transform of t to the power n. Ang Laplace daw sa t to the power of n is equal to n factorial over s to the power of n plus 1. No? So in this case, what is our n? N is equal to 2.
2, sir.
2, di ba? So later na lang na. Next, this one. Base table, the Laplace transform of a cosine 80 is s over s squared plus a squared. S squared plus a squared. Meaning, in this case, atong a is 2. No? 2. Kuha ninyo? So, ang
Yes,
Laplace
sir.
transform ani actually
Yes, sir.
is s over... Yes, thank you. Ang Laplace transform meaning ani is s over s squared plus 4. No? 2 squared. Last, this one, kaniha, ito maning nakuan, no? Ato maning na-generalize. The Laplace transform of an exponential function is 1 over s minus a. So, the Laplace transform of an exponential function s minus a. And in this case, our a is negative 1. No? Negative 1. So, tagsa-tagsaan this becomes 4 times, if n is 2, what is 2 factorial? 2 na ba gyapon? 2 factorial. 2. 2 ra gyapon. So, this is 2 factorial over 2 plus 1. 2 factorial over s 2 plus 1. No? Minus 3. The Laplace transform of cosine 2t is s over s squared plus 2 squared. Plus 5 1 over s minus negative 1. S minus negative 1. Meaning, the final answer is, what is 2 factorial times, is 2 times 4, 8 over s cube minus 3s over s squared plus 4 plus 5 over s plus 1. Okay? Same ba may answer sa slide? Sakto. 8 over s cube minus 3s over s squared plus 4 plus 5 over s plus 1. Kuha ninyo, class?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Any questions so far? Okay, wala pa. So, muna niya ang Laplace transform sa itong original function. The Laplace of f of t. para i-transform ni balik og ing ani, ano, kani, no? Ang kana nga operation is what we call the inverse Laplace transform, no? So when we say inverse Laplace transform, usahay sa pagtan-aw pa lang sa given, no, given nga function nga i-inverse Laplace is na tay idea kung unsa nga function iyang inverse. Like this one, oh. Kani, try to look at this one here sa left. Yeah, sa leftmost part. Ang iyang denominator is s to the power of a constant. So na tay idea nga kani nga kuan is just a function, a plain nga polynomial function, no? T to the power of something or x to the power of something. No? Kani, iyang numerator na s, so natin idea nga cosine function ni siya, iyang inverse Laplace. The same with this one, no? S plus something or s minus something sa kaninga case. Natin idea nga iyang inverse ani is an exponential function, no? So more of that, puho na lang siguro. But taga lang tamog tip daan karon. Next, second property is the translation property, no? Translation. So what does translation mean? Ang first translation is the shifting property. First translation or shifting property. So what does this mean? If given tag function f of t, ang iyang Laplace is f of s. But if our given function is that function times an exponential function e to the power of something t, the answer is f times s minus a. No? Try to observe lang sa. Okay? Ang constant, pwede lang mapagawas. Okay? Like ganina. Okay? Diba? If ang atong function is multiplied by a constant, si constant pwede lang mapagawas. But if ang atong function is a product of that function and an exponential function, dili siya, gani common siya nga mistake ha, pero dili siya ani e to the power of 80 times the Laplace of f of t. So dili ana, no? Dili mapagawas si a of t. But instead, ang atong function will be a function not just in terms of s but in terms of s minus this one a. No? So ang term nga akong ginagamit ana is i-compensate, no? Kani marag as if mawala man na siya, no? Magically mawala na siya. So to compensate, quote unquote, sa pagkawala niya ani, si f of s, dili na siya in terms of f of s lang, but f of s minus a. So, unsa kong ginapasabot, ato na makita nun in a while. No? Sige, ane. So, example. Example. Ang atong given function is cosine 2t. Ingana. So, normally, the Laplace transform of this based sa table, kay table na lang mo na ito ni pag-solve, is s over s plus 4. Right? So far. Sabtan pa? Sa table ako nag-refer ha.
Yes, sir. Sabtan pa.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
sir.
Okay, because the a, okay, very good. Because ang a sa atong given function is 2. So substitute lang ako si a dire. S squared ay dapat ni Supposedly, the Laplace transform of a cosine is s over s squared plus a squared. Since a is 2, so 2 squared. That's supposed to be 4. No? Now, what if ang atong given function is e to the power of 3t. 3t cosine 40. Igana. So kung cosine lang din given, the answer should be s over s squared plus 16. No? So i-take lang nako, diha, take note lang nako, s over s squared plus 16. Supposedly mo ning answer kung mo ning given. But naman siya naka-multiply man siya exponential function e to the power of 3t. Yan ang itsura, no? Yan ang may tabo sa atong final answer. So, what's the Laplace of e3t times cosine 40? Yan na. So, may tabuan no? Atong i-Laplace si cosine function in the same way, no? So, muna yung answer, di ba ganina? Ang Laplace kung kanilang ang given is s over s squared plus 16. Okay? But, atong i-compensate ang function nga naa ni siya, no? Wala man ni siya nawala dapat. So, may tabuan na, ang akong notation nga ginagamit is CS would be changed to S plus or minus 3. Based
Minus
on
3, sir.
Minus.
Minus, sir.
Okay, very good. Minus 3. Okay, positive man si 3. So, S minus positive A. And since since A is positive 3, so S minus positive 3. So, or S minus 3. So, tanan S dili, pang change na to S minus 3. Okay? So, this becomes, instead of S, to compensate for e to the power of 3t, this becomes S minus 3 over S minus 3 squared plus 16. Okay?
Cancel.
Saan makancel? Wala ko makancel. I-kung man i-expand. So,
Expand,
may
sir.
tabuan expand. Very good. So, man siya. S squared minus 6s if ako masayo plus 9 plus 16. No? This becomes s minus 3 over s squared minus 6s plus 25.
Plus 25.
So, muna na yung Laplace transform. Okay? So, pagkawala ni e to the power of 3t, atong i-compensate by replacing all s's, tanan s, with s minus 3. Alright? Maybe na yung mga ako ipang solve nga examples later si it work para inyong mapaktisan. Sige. The third shifting property, no, or third property is the second translation or second shifting property. It goes like this.
Saan sa kitong answer, sir? Katong sa S minus 3, sir?
Kani?
Kajit lang, sir.
Sige.
Ano na, 4 na siya. Ay, 4 na siya, sir. Kini sa
Asa
pinakaubos.
diri?
Kana.
Kani?
Ah?
Erasure lang ni.
Ay, erasure lang, sorry.
S squared minus 6s na siya.
Okay na, sir.
Plus 9 plus 16, 25. Okay ra, sige, sige.
Okay, sir.
Third shifting property is, I think better kung example na lang akong isolve dito, no? Malibog doon tagkuan. Yan eh. Sige. If given tag f of t cube, the Laplace of f of t cube, no. Sorry. Wait. Sorry. If ang given function nato is t cube, dala di eh. Then the Laplace of t cube as per the lookup table is t to the power of n is n factorial. So n is 3. Therefore, 3 factorial over s over n plus 1. So 3 plus 1. Sorry. So 3 factorial is 6 over s to the power of 4. Okay. Follow pa so far? Sa table naman eh.
Yes, sir.
Laplace value of t to the power of n is equal to s, n factorial over s n plus 1. That's why 3 factorial over s 3 plus 1. Now, what if ang given is something raised to the third power, no? Or a function raised to that power. And this function, let's say for example, t minus 2. T minus 2, let's say for example to the power of 4. No? Nga na. So may tabuan is the same atong first nga translation property. Ato siyang i-Laplace as if this is t to the power of 4. No? So the Laplace of this one, the Laplace of this function, supposedly, is kung t lang ni, no? This function raised to the power of 4, kung t lang ni siya, this is supposed to be 4 factorial over s 4 plus 1. Or 4 factorial s over power 5. O, pwede lang natin imukuhan si 4 factorial. Kailan ba si 4 factorial? 24? Yes, 24. Supposedly, this is 24 over s to the power 5. Now, giwala na to si t minus 2. The same bitaw ganina sa kato exponential. Ato siyang i-compensate. So, dapat ato na siyang i-multiply og e to the power of 2 teams yung dapat ni. Wait lang sa check ang kuan. So, i-multiply doon na to og negative, no? negative 80. And since A is 2, no? In this case, our A is 2. This becomes 24 over S to the power of 5 times E to the negative 2t. So, ingana. No? Masyag bali, di ba? Bali siya kanina. Questions so far?
Wala, sir.
Okay pa so far? Mhm.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I hope so.
Sir, wait lang, sir.
Nasa man.
Ang A is negative 2, sir. Bakit? Kaya
Yeah,
nga, wali,
ang
sir.
formula kay negative na daan. Ang ato A is positive 2 man actually. Di ba? Ang ato A is positive 2. So, pero atong formula, ang atong i-compensate sa iya is negative A. So, negative of positive 2 is negative 2.
Sige, sir. Thank you.
Ingana siya. Okay, sige. Alright. Another one is change of scale. No? If the Laplace transform of f of t is equal to f of s, the Laplace transform of f times, if the timing ang tanan t is multiplied by the same constant at, the final answer should be divided by that constant. 1 over a times f over s minus a. So, ang constant is not multiplied to the function but coefficient siya sa tanan independent variables. Okay? So malagay ani. Okay? Let's say for example, pakita na to ang Laplace transform ni sin t based sa table. This is our a is 1, di ba? 1 over s squared plus 1 squared or s plus 1. Correct? Yan na pa man, di ba? Now, although none is a table, pero just to illustrate this point, what then now is the Laplace of sine 3t? Pwede mo na ito, kabalo naman tadaan nga ang Laplace ani, butan na ako dire. Ang Laplace ani is 3 over s cubed plus 9. Diba? Based sa table, mo man ang Laplace. Pero just to illustrate our point, no? Okay, what if given tapuhon og more complex functions of this form, set lang sa simple karon, no? Based ani nga property, and knowing only the Laplace transform of sine of t, supposedly, yan yung answer, no? So, 1 minus a, if a is 3, supposedly this is 1/3. And the function is 1 over, instead of s squared plus 1, this should be s over 3 squared plus, plus 9. Plus 9. Plus 1. Plus 1. Wala. Okay, gisunod lang mo nato, no? Gisunod lang nato ang independent variable is nag-occur lang man siya sa S. So, ang S lang natong pulihan og S over 3. So, this becomes S squared over 3 squared. So, this is 1/3 1 over S squared over 9 plus 1. Multiply. One over S squared plus 9 over 9. So, si 9, isaka na ito dire, 9 divided by 3 is 3 over S squared plus 9. So, we'd end up with the same final answer if nagamit ta originally yung table. No? So, ako lang ninggi sulat para mas less itong point. Now, what if nga niyo? So, another example. Sa kaninga property. No? So, bapid na to example ani be. Ano na lang, no? Forty squared. Yeah, I think good din siya nga example. So, what if nga ni 40 squared, no? Daghan mo tag pamaagi og pag-Laplace ani. But again, just to stress the point, if this was given initially as t squared, no? The Laplace of that function, t squared, supposedly, is 2 over s over 3. 2 over,
Yes, sir.
I mean, s to the power of 3, no?
Yes, sir.
Diba? Sa table. Now, because ang atong t is multiplied by a constant 4, then the Laplace of 40 squared is, instead of this one, is this one. 2, no. Yeah. Supposedly, multiply sa ako. 1 over 4 day unta. 1 over 4, no? Haman tong notes. Diba? 1 over a times the Laplace of that function. I-replace ang independent variable with over a. 1 over 4 instead of s cubed is s over 4 cubed. So, 1 over 4 times 2 over s cubed over, what's 4 cubed? 64.
Before.
So, atong ipang kwantanan constant, pang simplify, 64 times 2 divided by 4, 32. So, this is just 32 over s cubed. mo dapat niya ang final answer kung mo yung given. No? So, mara siya ingani, no? Actually, kalisod-lisod ta. Pero again, ang akong gusto is less na totong point. Supposedly, pwede lang ta ni siya ihimong ingani, oh. If ang given is 40 squared, it's better kung gi-operate na to daan, this becomes 8t squared. 8 times the Laplace of t squared is katong ganina. Oh. 16 day. Kay 4 cube is 16 mo day. So, 16 2 over s cube. 16 times 2, that's 32 over s cube. So, yun tataging ana. Pero ako lang prove nga to ang property number 4, scaling property. Laplace transform of derivative. Later na lang ni. Or mas ma-appreciate nato yung Laplace transform sa derivative kung mag-solve na gitag DE. Yeah. Okay. Sige. Let's try to solve some examples daw. Mahulog siya nga seat work. Okay. May dakog challenging diri nga kuan. Solve na to. How about this one? Find the Laplace transform of e to the power of negative 2x at 2t na lang ni. 2t sine 5t. Sige daw. Sige, if na mo yung final answer, i-type lang sa chat. Kasi pinakauna makasolve ani. 5t. Sa lapit ang 5t. I-kan daw. Sa sign. 5t na siya sa sign. I-check daw again na Manuel. I think kulang pa na siya. Yeah. I think muna na siya ang answer ni Chen. S squared plus 4s plus 29. Okay. Kung man na siya, di ba? S squared plus 4... 29 ba? Oh, 2.
4 plus
S plus
25 nun, sir.
kung na siya, di ba? S squared plus 25 initially. Batang S atong gipulihan o S plus 2. S plus 2.
Yes, sir.
So S squared plus 2, 4S plus 4. So 4 plus 25, 20 na. Sakto na eh. Okay, good. Very good. Okay,
Kulang
para
daw pa, sir.
mag-answer.
Plus, sir.
Kulang pa. Sige lang. Good, at least nakuha ninyo ang idea, no? So for those na ka-solve pa, yan na ilahang process nga gi-take. Ang Laplace transform aning so nato idea dire nga this is a translation nga problem. So wala sa nato ni siya, compensate lang nato later. So kaya natong Laplace transform ni sin 5t because sin siya, this is nasa table a over s squared plus a squared. So if a is 5, 5 over s squared plus 5. Supposed to be ang ani. At tungkol kay nani si exponential function with a of negative 2, we replace s with s plus 2. No? So this becomes 5 over s plus 2 squared plus 5 over s squared plus 4s plus 4. 25 din eh. 5 squared supposed to be. So 25 plus 25. So the final answer is 5 over s squared plus 4s plus 29. No? Sakto? Same tag-answer na tanan? Okay. Sakto. Good, good. So this ends our discussion this afternoon. I hope you've learned much. Now, the main objective of our subject, why we are learning Laplace transform, is not for us to solve for the Laplace transform of different functions, different arbitrary functions. So, dili na mo ang objective sa itong kuan. Actually, we'll only be solving for the Laplace transforms of common functions, commonly occurring lagani. And all of those common functions could be found sa atong lookup table na ako nang gi-include sa atong slide, because the main purpose why we're learning Laplace transform is for us to use it to solve ordinary differential equations. Okay? And that would be the topic for next meeting. So, do you have any questions?